Now that we're live on Facebook, welcome everybody. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about past client and Sphere and how to automate all of that. It's kind of magic, and that's why I brought in Dan, because he explains it as I say it's just magic. So Dan, what do you think?
You know, I like that you use the term magic because to me, nothing's more important than relationships, right? And we've talked about this a little bit off the air, but if you look at the lives of most people who have been, blessed with success, they didn't get there alone, right? We all get there through relationships, the people we meet, the people we serve, the people who want to pay it forward and help us. So I live a life right now where I feel incredibly grateful to get to wake up every day and do what I do. So I know that that's because of people. And that's what today is really all about, is people. Like, how can we take those contacts that are in a database and actually, nurture them to the point where they're really close relationships, right?
I like that. And, over the years, we've been able to do that through systems like the one you're about to show. Mm-hmm. And I think the difference between just regular automation and more authentic automation, I think that's really what people are looking for. People are looking to interact and make sure that you care, right?
Yeah.
I think that's
absolutely
what really sets us apart. That's why I love what you do, man. But
thank you.
Really quick thing. Welcome everybody. Let us know what city and state you're from.
I love it. Hey Pam. Hey William. Hey Simon. I love it.
All right, who's from out of the United States or Canada? I want to know if we've got anybody from Portugal, France, Spain, South Africa, Paraguay,
Clarksburg, Mexico. Maryland. That's really close to Paraguay.
That's really dude. So is Winchester, California. I don't know if you've heard.
Naperville, check it in. Naperville. All right, we got Gainesville in the house. What up, Justin? Barbara from the great country of Tejas.
Ooh, I've heard Tejas is
Tejasian over there.
Good job, Charlotte, Barbara, joining us.
McKinley Lovins. What a great name that is. I love that name. Hi, McKinley. Welcome.
That's almost a brand in itself.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
That is a beautiful name. I love that. All right, let's see what we've got on Facebook. Good. Oh, we're live there too. Anybody here from? Oh, we've got Los Angeles, that's right next to me. I'm in Ventura County. Got Florida, Miami. Oh, what's up? We got a few moderators watching. Good. All right, that gives us enough time. We got enough people on this, buddy.
We do. Are you ready?
I'm ready, man. Can I start off with a quick little story on just relationships? Since you brought that whole thing up, So 2.5 years ago, we get an online lead from Facebook lead ad. So where they fill out the information automatically, we get the lead. And it's a client that we think might be pretty good because they come in looking in Malibu and Santa Monica for about 4 or 5 million. And we're like, okay, could be, it could take a while. Well, we keep on sending them properties as we talk to them and engage and we listen. And they say, you know what, we're just looking, but keep on sending us homes. So my agent, because he's all about relationships, right? He starts sending them properties, hand-picked properties, because he feels like these people may be a little bit more serious than normal. So he takes the time to do that, and he takes the time to automate the process as well on the side, kind of like what you're about to show us, right? So he does both. 20 days later, this is a long time, 20 days later, after we get the lead, they call us back and it's on my agent says, hey, I really like this home in Venice Beach. And I'd love to go take a look at it. So goes and sees it, says, I love it. Let's put in an all cash offer. And it's around 4 million. While we're in the inspection, fast forward 12 days, he says, hey, that house right next door is for sale too. Can we take a look at it? So go inside. He says, I love this home too. Can we buy this one too? So it's no joke. It's crazy. Puts in an offer, we get accepted, and we close both transactions. It ends up being over $6.5 million in commissions off of a Facebook lead ad that we built. That relationship's not finished. Here we go. Fast forward to last week, because we've been automating them through authentic nurturing and talking to them routinely. Calls us back, says, hey, I know I was looking in Beverly Hills earlier this year by email, right? But now we might have changed our minds. We're looking in Malibu and we love this property. Sends it to us. And I hear it's Matthew Perry's home from Friends, right? Chandler. So we're like, oh, that's cool. Josh Flagg is the agent on the other end. So we're like, that's cool. That's cool. Go see it. He loves the home. Absolutely loves it. 12.95 million. Then he says, you know what? Put in an offer at 13 million. Put in an offer at 13 million. But then another offer comes in, right? And now we're in multiple offer situations. So my agent, his name's Luis, calls up Josh, and we have a good relationship with Josh. Right? And so he says, hey, look, I know your client has a good history with you, right? Because they've purchased in the past and you've built a great relationship with us, because I keep on seeing that you're doing great things by email. And I know I talk to you here and there. My client feels more comfortable with your offer. If you can do this and this, let's just open up escrow with you.
Boom.
So all of that building up, we open up escrow on Matthew Perry's home just a few days ago. And now our client, who was a Facebook lead ad from 2.5 years ago, needs to put up for sale those 2 Venice properties next week.
Awesome.
So that's the story I want to launch with, because I really believe what you do matters that much.
Thank you, Tristan. And congratulations, man. It's no wonder. I saw earlier on Facebook, you're closing in on 30 million for the month, right?
Crazy, right, dude?
Like, that's awesome.
It might.
That's so good.
We have enough time to go to 40 if we put the Venice
might get there.
in escrow.
There you go. There you go. Well done. Well done. Well, you know what? We made a lot of promises today, and I want to start delivering on them. Would that be cool if I open my screen and we got to business?
I want to see the magic.
Let's do it. Let's get down to business. So I'm going to share a screen here for you guys, and I'm going to start a PowerPoint in just a moment. So what you're seeing, I'm not sure you're seeing the right screen, actually. Let me stop that, redo it. What are you seeing on your screen, people?
I'm seeing LCA Nurture join the waiting list.
That's exactly right. That's
Perfect.
What I want you to be seeing right now. So what Tristan and I are going to introduce you to today is a technology that we're collaborating on to make your lives a lot easier. Okay, so we'll give you a link here where you can join this waiting list a little bit later in the webinar. For right now, what we're going to do is start out on knocking out these promises that we've made here regarding the content that we've covered today. So the first thing we said is that we're going to cover the ideal types and frequency of messages. We're going to nail that. We're going to show you how you can harvest business literally right now. I'm going to provide messaging you can steal right from the screen. You go use it today, you'll get responses today. And then we're going to show you some examples here. So one of our recent people who started working with us, Tristan, I mean, check this out. When's the last time you sent an email that had an 80% open rate?
I never have.
It's astounding.
Unless it's to my mom and to you, right? Then.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. When you nurture relationships and people actually want to hear from you, it's a whole different thing than when you're just like spamming strangers, hoping that they'll care enough to open what you're sending. So we're going to show you guys how to make these kind of results happen. And then, of course, we're going to show you the technology that you can just have run all this and make it work for you. Okay. So I feel like we got to throw a little steam at this. We got to build a fire. We got to get the water boiling. We have to understand why it is we actually want to bother with this. So if Tristan's example isn't enough proof that relationships are priceless, like, I don't know what is, right? There's so much uncertainty in the world. We're in the midst of a global pandemic. It's an election year. And no matter what happens, it's our relationships that are always going to see us through that. So, when you've built a life that is full of people, you have a level of security and access to a level of prosperity with high levels of certainty and a lot less distraction. That's really what it's all about for me, guys. I need you to understand this. Dan Stewart, me, human being, as an entrepreneur, the mission I'm on is to provide solo entrepreneurs like you the opportunity to experience these things in your life. Okay. So, coming to it from a purely like, let's do the math economic perspective, there are 2 to 12 transactions every year for every 100 relationships you're nurturing. All right. So 2 to 12. So if you've got 200, 300, 400, 500 people, you can easily get above 60 transactions per year just with that number of people in your database.
Dan?
Yes.
Can you explain what you mean by relationships, just so that people are clear on this?
Yeah, thank you. So let's do this. Let's think about some of the conversations I've had over the years talking with agents. Sometimes I get the sense people feel like it's a race to have the most contacts in their database. Mm-hmm. And really, contacts are worthless, right? A contact doesn't mean anything. So what that you have their contact information? A relationship, on the other hand, is priceless because these are people who actually know you, they understand you, and better yet, they want to help you. Okay? So for me, the question I like to ask myself internally is, if I send a message to this person, are they going to know who I am? Right? If you see me across the store at the grocery, would you go, oh, I know that guy? Like, if you can't say yes to that, you don't have a relationship with that person. And the entire messaging strategy that we're laying out for our folks today, it requires that you have a relationship. Right? And if you don't have one, we'll help you build them. But you've got to get to a point where you have that kind of connection so you can get those kind of results that Sue got, right? So let's talk about the ways to get that done. If we think about the problem, right, you've got these people that you meet all the time in real estate, and you build great relationships with them. You serve their need, and then, you're on to the next transaction. And pretty soon those people are far in your rearview mirror, and you haven't maintained that relationship with them. So there's a lot of things you could do to solve that. Like, set your calendar up to just remind you to call them. You can call block certain hours of the day. You could have your assistant give you a list every day of people that you should reach out to. You could go down to Walgreens and buy a file folder and set up a tickler system. So, every day of the week, you've got people you can call alphabetically. That's one thing you could do, right?
Yeah.
You could also write a bunch of personal messages. You could, buy a bunch of cards. You could sit down and write them. Handwritten cards, handwritten letters. And of course, you can also send marketing to people. Like, that's pretty easy to do in real estate. There's lots of ways to send marketing. But each of these options have pretty serious drawbacks. I love talking on the phone. I love talking to my clients. And, hopefully most of you feel the same way. The challenge is there's just not enough hours in the day, right? So
that's the big challenge, dude. I've found that as our team has grown, we obviously get more and more and more past clients, and it becomes more challenging to just continually keep up with every single past client and core sphere.
Right. For sure. For sure. And even relationships that, are tempered in fire, like a lot of real estate transactions. You guys really get to know each other through the process of getting through escrow.
That's trial by fire.
You can absolutely get tempered together, right? That will happen. And it's a shame to let that go. It's a real loss. And as we've talked about, there's an economic price for doing that, right? So you could struggle. You could try to do all these things yourself. There, again, you're going to struggle with time. You're going to struggle with what to say. You're going to struggle with maintaining consistency throughout the year. So, I like to just say, hey, what you really want, like if we get past all that stuff, what you really want is a framework that just works. You want something you can trust, and you want verification. You need proof that it's actually working. Because how many times have we all bought something that we think would work that didn't actually work? Like, nobody's got time for that.
Dude, I think over 50% of the time that's happened to me.
Well, in the software world, we call it shelfware. You buy something, you have all these plans, and then the problem is the same deal with getting on the phone and writing those cards, right? It takes time, it takes effort from you. So, what you really want in an ideal world would be someone who would just do it all for you, right? That would be the best thing. Like, hey, this is no longer my problem. And the good news, of course, is that that's exactly what we've built for you. So I am super, super proud of the work that we've done here, and I can't wait to show it to everybody. This is LCA Nurture, right? And LCA Nurture is available for you to join the waiting list now. So Tessa may be popping that in the chat right now. If not, I'll just give it to you. It's happygrasshopper.com/LCA Nurture. So that's the page that I had up a moment ago. And I want you to just go there and enter your name on the waiting list. Okay, so why a waiting list? Like, we have well over 100 people who are already using LCA Nurture. We're getting great feedback from people who are already using it, but the LCA community is so big that we just can't make it available to everybody all at one time. So the way it works is you go here, happygrasshopper.com/LCA Nurture. We'll add you to the system, and then we'll send you an invitation to get your account set up. And then once you get that invitation, you'll load your contacts, you'll walk through a few steps to set up your account, and then, of course, you'll send your first message. So, those of you who are going there right now and doing that, we'll get those invitations out to you later today. That's our commitment to you. And speaking of commitments, we have these promises that we want to keep, right? We talked about all of these things that we were going to get done for you. So let's knock that out. I really want to make sure that we give that value to everybody today. So first place we're going to start is ideal types and frequency. So, Tristan, think about all the different types of messages that we get every day, right? It's crazy. We get bombarded with messages every day. Yep. Let us know in the chat. If you feel like you're being bombarded every single day with messaging, say yes. Like, we're going to see tons of yeses for it.
Oh, well, Ellen beat me. Never mind. Yes.
It piles in, guys. We get so many messages each day.
Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, texts. I'm getting texts from Jack in the Box. I don't know how they got my number. Jack in the Box.
It's crazy. Yeah, I'm getting texts every day from things like, we can wire money to your account, blah, blah, blah. You can't tell the scams from stuff you've requested sometimes. It's absolutely crazy, the volume of messaging we're each exposed to every day, right? And that's why we have to do what so many people aren't willing to do, right? We have to say, you know what? We're going to send messaging that's friendly, that's personal, that doesn't try to sell people something. By the time we're 18, we're exposed to hundreds of thousands of marketing messages. So much so that it literally rewires our brains. It changes the way that we think. There's tremendous studies out of Stanford University about this, from Stanford and the Stanford Research Institute. It's a fascinating, fascinating topic. And that's why we're able to create such great results for people, because we understand how our brains have been wired by this mass exposure to messaging. Yep. And we're able to use those pathways in ways that many marketers are not, right? Everybody's pounding on the real clickbaity call to action type of content, where all the messaging that we're focusing on is it's as you said, Tristan, it's intimate communication, right? Yep. It's designed to feel like that hello from a friend, rather than that here's another great offer that you're tempted to click on.
Monica says, I got to tell you this. Monica says 2 tacos, 99 cents is how they got your number. Just kidding. Thanks, Monica. Thanks, Monica.
Yeah. And the first person who takes an old ice cream truck and starts selling tacos out of it, I mean, there's your next million, right?
Yeah.
We need taco trucks like ice cream trucks today, I think. So that's what we're going to talk about here in terms of ideal type, right? The type of message you want to send should be friendly. It should be personal. It should not be a sales message. And then we've got frequency. So frequency is 41 touches per year. Okay. Now, this is not a butt math frequency. This is the result of sending hundreds of millions of messages over a decade. So we know in measuring the data what we need to send in terms of frequency, and it breaks down like this. So for each of these contacts in your database, they should get 17 emails per year, 12 texts, and 12 ringless voicemail drops that are not salesy in nature. Okay. So, Tristan, does this make sense to you?
It does, dude. I'm just doing a quick little video on this for you on Instagram.
Oh, cool. Sweet. Hello, Instagram. So now we'll get moving into what you can send today to harvest opportunities. Because guess what, folks? Every single person you're ever going to meet has to live somewhere. They're all going to have a real estate need at some point now or in the future. They're all connected to people who have needs today. So what you need is a way that you can harvest those opportunities from people you already know. Okay. The seeds have already been planted by other people. They've made up their mind that they're going to move. It's your time just to harvest that opportunity. And the first way we're going to do that is with a text message. So this is a really short message. I want you to rip this off and start sending it. I promise you'll get more replies than you expect. So it's first name, last name. So in my case, it's Dan Stewart. Can you talk today? Question mark.
Ooh, that's a simple, good. I know that's going to work.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to work, right?
But
it's not enough just to send the message. Like so many people look at marketing activities as just checkbox tasks. It's on my to-do list. I have to do this. I have to send out X number of messages. It's done. The real work is not in sending the message out. The real work is in the conversations that are produced by that message. Yeah. So, what do you think is going to happen, Tristan, if you sent that text message out to 50 people who know you, just 50?
Just a pause on that. These are people that, like you said, know me, right? So it's relationships, past clients, and core sphere. Mm-hmm. I would probably get just the same as your open ratio, over 80% of the people getting back to me saying, of course, or yes, what's up?
Absolutely, right. Okay. And then the whole idea is that you need to know where that conversation is going, right? Now, I understand who's listening today. Like, you're all professionals. You probably know exactly the sorts of thing you would say. My suggestion would be to ask them for help for some things like, hey, I was curious if you know anyone in your neighborhood who's thinking of moving. Questions like that will lead to opportunities for you. And speaking of that question that I just said, that is a great PS line to add to a non-real estate email. Right? So just think about the email correspondence that you're having every day. If you tack that PS line on, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get replies from people who go, yeah, actually, I do. That's where you get referrals, guys. It's stupid easy to do that. So, just try this. Next time you're sending email to somebody, add that as a PS line and watch the replies come in. It's amazing to see this work.
That's such an easy PS line, dude.
It's so easy. Like, how many of us have been taught to ask for referrals? That's real estate 101, right? You can't hardly take a real estate class and not be taught to ask for referrals. The problem is that makes the listener have to do too much work. Gosh, what's Tristan mean by a referral? Who really is he looking for? This is a simple question. Do you know anyone who's thinking of moving? Is a question my brain doesn't have to work too hard to answer.
Right.
Okay? That's why it's valuable. So, guys, I hope you're screenshotting this stuff. I hope you're putting it to work because this will do its job for you. Now, the next way we're going to ask you to harvest opportunities is with a voicemail drop. So you could call people and hope you get their voicemail and leave this one at a time, or you could use LCA Nurture to just record the message once and have it go out to the people you choose to receive the message. And here we are coming up on Halloween, right? It's a pretty good reason to reach out to people. So, hey, it's me, Dan Stewart. I'm calling to say happy Halloween and to ask you for a favor. Please call me back. My number is blah, 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 right? So what do you think happens, Tristan, if you listen to that voicemail from me?
Well, dude, I'm going to be like, oh, that's really sweet of you. And then, you know what? We should call that Dan Stewart guy back, or we should call Dan back. We haven't talked to him for a while.
Yep. Right. And so this is where frequency comes in. Now, a message like this voicemail drop, this is a lead harvesting voicemail drop. This is kind of a once per quarter type message that you're going to send out. And this way, when people get it, you'll actually get those calls from them. They will return the call and they will want to say, hey, what's going on? What can I help you with? And that's where you say these smart things that we're teaching you. Like, well, I need your help because there are a lot of people who want to live in your area. Do you have any neighbor we could convince to list their home if we gave them enough cash? Ask for what you need, right? If you're serving buyers, ask them if they know anyone who's trying to buy a home. If you work with first-time home buyers, ask them if they know anybody who's trying to buy their first home. It's pretty amazing how simple life can be when you actually ask for what you need and be brave enough not always to fake it until you make it, right? So I know my life started to get a lot better when I set my ego aside and just asked for the help that I need. So I would certainly encourage everyone to do that. So what do you guys think? Give me a thumbs up, give me a yes, tell me heck yes if these are messages you're going to put to work today. And I hope every single one of you gives this a shot, right? I want to see those yeses come on through the chat. Boom. Here they come. Here they come. I love it. So if that's not enough motivation, let's dig into some examples, right? I mentioned Sue Proctor earlier.
Yeah.
And we're gonna play a little game here, okay? I'm gonna show you the message she sent, and then I want to see yeses or nos in the chat, right? Because some of you are gonna read it and be like, "Ooh, I couldn't send it," and others of you are gonna be like, "I can't wait to send it." It's fine. So here's the actual email message that she sent. Subject line is, "What do you think?" And then it's casual. It greets them, "Hi, Tristan," right? "Hi, first name. I'm doing a quick poll of my friends and would love your input. Around the country, many of the capacity restrictions placed on restaurants and bars are being lifted. How long until you and your family go back to your favorite establishment? Anyway, I hope you and your family are doing well. I'd love to catch up. Thanks, Sue Proctor."
That's such a good email, dude.
Like simple, short. Notice how her email signature makes sure you don't forget what she does for a living. And yet the content is not about real estate at all. That's how you show someone you care without being salesy. So
Dude,
important to nail that.
I love it. I thought for a second, Dan, before I read the bottom, I thought it was, "I'm doing a quick poll on my friends and would love your input. Around the country," I thought you were saying, there's just lots of separation. Are you going to vote for Trump or Biden? I think we're just go for the kill. And then separate them. It's like, okay, got it. I know I have a list that goes for Republican and Democrat. Right. But no, I love this much better, Dan. Much better.
Yeah. I mean, you bring up an interesting thing, right? Because we each have friends in our lives that we disagree with politically right now.
Yep.
We do. And, my thought as a business person who has goals I'm working to achieve is that I want to help you improve your life through helping you sell more stuff. Like that's where I come from with this. And your political affiliations are less important to me than whether or not you're a good candidate as someone I can actually help, right? So, this is a pretty good place to clear this up. And as I do this, I'm going to ask you guys if you would send this message. So this is where I want to see the yes, I would send it. No, I wouldn't send it responses in the chat. Okay. So going a little further on whether or not I can help someone. So if you're not the kind of person who wants to actually engage with people, if you're the kind of person who would get annoyed if you had to have more conversations with your past clients in Sphere, LCA Nurture is not for you. It just isn't.
Wait, Dan, I have to pause you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know Sue was on the call?
I did not. I did not know she's here. That's awesome. Hi, Sue.
She says, I got 105 out of 111 emails I sent out responded to me.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So I have some of the stats because Sue let our staff know about the great response she had. And I knew there was an 80% open rate. And when I put this deck together, there were only 95 replies. So look at that. They're still coming in. I love it. I love it. And again, that's just from a list of 115 people. So, you know, if you are on this call and you're thinking, what can I do to stay in touch with my past clients in Sphere? How can I make sure that I never see another agent sign go up in front of my friend's house again? The answer is you can build better relationships with those people. And the answer is LCA Nurture. We can absolutely help you do that. We've created the technology that you need to make this happen. That's our fourth promise today, was to deliver on the technology that you need. And again, you can do that now just by hopping over to happygrasshopper.com/LCA Nurture. That's where you're going to join the waitlist. So once you do that, and once you get things set up, I want to be really clear about what your expectations should be. When you send your first messages out, you will get replies and you'll get them almost instantly. So we have lots and lots of evidence that even in just the first few minutes, you can get meaningful responses that lead to listing opportunities. It's crazy. I love this from Cassidy, her first reply in just 12 minutes, right? And the best part, Tristan, she only loaded 3 contacts. She's in like, I don't know about this. I'm going to give it a little test and let's see how it works. 3 contacts and she gets her first reply in 12 minutes.
Well, so, Dan, can you go back to Sue's email? I'm going to take a
yeah.
I want people to, if they didn't get a chance to snap it, I want them to take a snap of that because I thought that's super awesome. I love that Sue's on here too. Hi, Sue.
It's so cool that she is. I didn't know she would be. Love it.
All right, cool, buddy. I think that's good. All right, back to you, bud.
Well, you know what? While we're looking here at Sue's picture, does she not seem like someone you'd want to have a conversation with?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, everything about this, like she is the perfect client to be using this kind of service because she just projects this sense of friendliness, right? So, you know, if you're a curmudgeonly, nasty kind of person, LCA Nurture is not for you, right? If you're a dabbler and you don't really know if you're in real estate yet, LCA Nurture is probably not for you. But if you're a committed professional and you definitely know you want to generate more referral business, LCA Nurture is for you, provided you're willing to have all this engagement, right? Because you will get replies and you'll see that consistently over time. So if we look at our data set across all of our members, deliverability is excellent. You know, 99%, actually over 99% of everything we send gets delivered. And if we look at just email alone for a moment, our system-wide average is nearly double the rate for the real estate industry at large. And if we look just at LCA Nurture, it's much higher than that, much higher. So, you know, I love that the open rate that Sue enjoyed was so high at 80%. I can tell you we've seen higher than that just since I put this slide together. So,
well, hold on, dude. She said she got 105 out of 111 emails respond. That's
higher.
That's way higher, dude.
I have a calculator.
I can't calculate that. I would say it's like 97%.
It's 91.3% reply rate. Not an open rate, a reply rate, right?
That's insane.
So, I mean, the whole point of building a database, the whole point of having a CRM system is to have conversations with people, right? And you can have the best technology in the world, but if you don't have the right messaging, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't matter. So we work really hard to create messages like what Sue sent so that people will get the response that they need.
I have a question from you, one from Facebook from Neil. What's up, Neil? Says, what if it's been a while, like years? Do you
Love it.
address that type of contact? Do you leave them out? What do you would bring them in? What do you think?
Yeah. So Neil, I love that you bring this up because, I mean, haven't we all been there? Like, haven't we all lost touch with someone we wish we didn't? And we feel a little ashamed, you know, gosh, I should have done, it's my job. I'm the professional. I'm the one who should have. And yet the reality is it takes two to tango, right? They didn't reach out either. So rather than make a big deal of it, what we've learned is most effective is to just go ahead and message them. Like the last time you spoke to them was 2 weeks ago, right? So I would say that message we just showed you for Sue would be totally fine to send to that person that you've lost touch with. And they're probably feeling much the same, and they'll be relieved that you've spared them from having to feel that guilt. So yeah, just go ahead, load them up and send that message and you'll be fine.
I love that. And then Terrell Miller says, do you shift the types of touches with people who don't use email?
Well, in our system, as you know, we send email, text message, and voicemail drops. You know, email is very widely adopted. It would be an edge case for someone not to use email at all, but you could certainly send them text and voicemail drops.
Cool. That was the last question.
Right. Cool. So system-wide, what we're seeing, I mean, Tristan, this is data we really need to like spend time on, my friend, because what we're seeing with LCA Nurture is far above what we've experienced historically. Like the data that you see on the screen right now, 10% reply rate for email and 16% for text. That's system-wide, user-wide. That includes leads. It includes recruits. It's all the data lumped together. When we look at just the contacts that are loaded in LCA Nurture, that's where we see rates like what Sue's experienced, that 91% reply rate from the email that she sent. So, I mean, there's just tremendous value in sending these types of messages. And when you actually look at the math here, it's kind of nuts. So, Tristan, you'd probably lose your house if you only got 6K per side, because I know what part of the world you live in, right?
Yes.
But, you know, NAR tells us that the rest of us have to work for a living. I'm kicking you too hard. I shouldn't do that.
Well, that was good, though. That was good.
Well, I heard your cost of living is a little higher too, so maybe it balances out. Could be. But, you know, if we look at getting to 12 transactions, which, folks, if you have 100 contacts that know you, and nearly every one of us should, that should be your goal. So even here at the lower GCI, we're talking about a $72,000 return. And I mean, 72 grand, like what would you invest to get 72,000 bucks? That's a question. You know, probably like 71,000 bucks. I mean, you could do that. So I'm curious, like if we look at just a normal transaction on a national basis, you know, how much would an agent invest for a $6,000 payday? I mean, we can ask the audience, you guys can chime in there, and yet we already know, right? Because if you're on a team doing a 50-50 split, we know what you're paying for that. We know what you're paying for referrals. And still, as much as that is, it's way less than hiring a copywriter. So there's a resource I'm such a huge fan of, this brand called Copy Hackers. And Joanna Vebe is the principal over there. And if you go to copyhackers.com, you'll see that to have the sort of content that we've put together in LCA Nurture would cost a minimum of $10,000. And then you still need a system to be able to send those messages. So, you know, I want to put these kind of numbers out there so you have a sense of the value of what Tristan and I are offering in LCA Nurture. Because our system is just $47 to start, and then it's $470 for the whole year. And that covers all of those 41 touches per contact that you load. So, I mean, the value there is just nuts, right? If you look at the ROI from just one transaction, If you put $1 in, you're getting $11.60 out. So tell me the stock you can invest in that will do that. Like, that is a crazy great rate of return, 1,160%. It's nuts. And, you know, if you have 100 contacts in there and you work the system and you have all those conversations and you see the full 12 transactions per 100 contacts, the return is just ridiculous. And I mean, that seems crazy, right? A 13,926% return. Like, I heard a stat recently that I loved. It said that, you know, like, did you have an iPod, Tristan? Back Gen 1 iPods came out? I did.
I did.
Right? And if we had bought Apple stock instead of buying the iPod Gen 1, that same money would be worth almost $1 million today. That's how much that stock has gone up, right? So none of us have a time machine. We can't go back in time and buy that Apple stock, but we can invest in our relationships, right? Because again, relationships truly are priceless. So I'll show you another example where this works out. And this is from our buddy Randall Martin. He's with CB&A in Houston, Texas. And he recently sent this message about Blockbuster. So again, here's another email, guys. You should copy this. Go ahead and screen grab it, steal it, send it out.
Screen grabbing it, Dan, there's one question about the product that's by Mary. What's up, Mary? Mary Ellen. Is it limited to 100 contacts?
No. You can load up to 250 contacts into LCA Nurture. We limit it at that with the initial account because while we know that there's some of you who have more than 250 people who really actually know who you are, most agents have less than 250. So to keep the pricing as low as possible and to make this just a super no-brainer for you, that initial account is capped at 250 contacts. Okay. So this is the message that Randall sent out, and I'll just read it real quick. It says in the subject line, Blockbuster finally pivots. Did you see this? Blockbuster's last store is now an Airbnb rental. Ha! They set it up with 90s furniture, TV, and VCR, and all the movies you can watch for $4 per night. And call me crazy, but I actually love this. It kind of makes me wish they'd paid more attention to Netflix and pivoted sooner. Speaking of real estate changes, do you know anyone who's thinking of moving or even someone we could convince to move if they got enough money for their home? Now, you guys should all recognize that's language I used earlier in the session, right? This language works. I'll show you the reply that Randall got to this message. She writes back, "Hi, Randall. Hope that you, Vanessa, and your family are doing well. Your last sentence got me." Right? That's it, guys. That question at the end was not a call to action. It was not click here to search for real estate. It was a call to conversation instead of a call to action. That's what we produce with LCA Nurture is those conversation opportunities. So she goes on in this message to say, you know, she thinks it might be time to list their home. What do you think it's worth, right? So Randall obviously is pumped about this, and he posted it in his internal company Facebook group, and then something crazy happened. He got a second reply, right? This is a second client. One, he says he had no idea they were thinking or had the itch. So that's two realistic, legitimate opportunities for him, just replying to that simple email about Blockbuster of all things, right? And look at this. We're talking between $1.5 million and $2 million in turnarounds on those transaction opportunities. So I think that's pretty amazing, guys. I think it's absolutely amazing that marketing has so got us all screwed up that we've forgotten how to communicate with each other as human beings. And when you show up in the lives of people you can serve as a human first, you actually get more opportunity to serve their business needs. So that's the secret here. That's the magic sauce, is we help you show up as human beings first. So all you need to do is just join that waiting list. And then, of course, we'll walk you through the process. We'll help you get your account set up. We'll invite you to free live training. And we're going to do something really super awesome. So we worked out a special opportunity here for the first 1,000 people that join LCA Nurture and who choose the annual plan, right? So if you're one of those folks, you get Revaluate totally free, right? Now I need to explain what Revaluate is. This is an amazing technology. Revaluate is a data company that crunches all the data they can find online to figure out which of your contacts are most likely to move in the coming year. So for every contact that you load in the system, we provide a Revaluate move score. Anything above 80 out of 100 is considered likely to move within 12 months. So we'll identify those people for you right inside your LCA Nurture account, and we'll make it super easy for you to send messaging to them. So again, this is where you need to go. Just head over to happygrasshopper.com/LCA Nurture. That's the place where you join the waiting list. So Tristan, while I've got this PowerPoint open, I haven't been able to see all the chat questions that are coming through. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so I can see your face again, and we can have that conversation.
We got them all, man.
All right, cool.
You know who asked the question last, which is, it's been a while, like years, do you address that type of contact? I thought that was a great question. He followed up with, he says, this is brilliant. Sparing old leads the embarrassment of not keeping in contact for years by talking like you both spoke yesterday. Simple and brilliant.
And it just plain works. It just does. So
I love that. I love that a lot, dude.
I see this question from Ben about scripts for voicemail drops.
Yep.
Yeah, we absolutely provide those scripts. In fact, I will share my screen again, and I'll just show you guys how awesome this is. So are you seeing my screen there, Tristan?
I do. I see your screen. You're on the back end. You're on the analytics overview.
Yep, I am looking here inside LCA Nurture. And on the dashboard page, you'll see that like we're notifying you. Like here's someone with a birthday coming up. You can send them a voicemail drop. So, you know, here we've already pre-recorded a message inside this account, but you can just go ahead and approve, send that out. You can edit and schedule. And when you're in the voicemail drop section of the application, there are all sorts of scripts that are here ready for you for all sorts of things. So your birthday script, your Q3 warm touch, you're asking for help, you're thinking of them message, and of course your transaction anniversary message. Now, we talked about 41 touches per year. I'm going to break those down here for you a little bit further. Okay. I'm going to scroll down here and we're going to break those down. So first type is email. Like you want to send one email once every 3 weeks, and it should not be about real estate, right? This is that blockbuster message. It's that are you ready to go out to eat message. It's not real estate related. It is conversation starting. You'll also want to send birthday texts and voicemails. So Tristan, how many people do you think told you happy birthday on your birthday?
Like in all forms?
I'm going to say just on Facebook. Let's start there.
Oh, on Facebook, probably like, I think like, I don't know, 500?
That's awesome. So 500 people said happy birthday to you on your birthday, right? Now that's as awesome as that is. What it means is if I'm one of those 500 people, I probably didn't stand out very much on that day, right? So what we suggest for birthdays is that you reach out ahead of time. And so, you know, when I come here to the birthday greeting and I show you this preview message, it says, hey, it's me, Dan Stewart. Happy birthday. I hope I'm the first person to tell you that this year. And I certainly hope you're doing something fun. Let's catch up soon. Bye. Like simple message, right? So our system can automate delivery of that a week ahead of their birthday. And then you're not competing with all the messaging that's coming out on Facebook. So really, really simple to set that sort of thing up. So what other questions do we have coming in?
Let me see, buddy. We have, Ben says, do you provide scripts for, what does the contact import process look like?
Okay. Well, so I'm coming over here to contacts. And you got options. You can click upload here, or you can come to the more button and click bulk upload. And then you just drag your CSV file over. And our system maps it out and lets you suck them right into the system. They just get pulled in very easily. Now, one of my suggestions to make this easy, like you're going to have contacts from lots of different places. They're in your phone, they're in your CRM, they may be in your MLS, your transaction management software. They could be in a lot of different places. And you may end up with one contact that's in lots of different lists. So when those contacts are being imported into our system, they're automatically deduplicated, and we automatically capitalize the first letter of their first name and their last name. So you don't have to worry about having one person in there 15 times, like not a problem. So another thing I will mention is that we have a great team of support and success professionals working for us at Happy Grasshopper. And if you're stuck, if you can't manage that or whatever the issue is, you can always reach out to us and we'll help you with that. We'll definitely do that.
I love it, man. So how long do people typically have to wait until they actually join once they email or sign up for this?
Well, we're trying to get as many as possible turned around in 24 hours.
Got it.
So, I would say this first group, and I don't know how many people are watching us live right now. If you're on this live, you're ahead of all the people that are going to watch this in syndication. So, the majority of people who watch these webinars are watching them in the recorded version rather than live. So if you're on live right now, go ahead and join. You'll probably get your invitation today.
Perfect. And then Cindy says, would my phone number show up or is it a different phone number?
Great question. So when we're setting up your account, like here, I'll come over to text messaging. We do have to set up a new phone number for you. So you just select new, you pop in your area code, and you run a search, and it will show you all the different available numbers. Now, the reason that this needs to happen is because it's an FCC requirement. If we were to make it appear like I was, if I put your phone number there and it's coming from our back-end software, that's going to be detected as spam by the carriers, and it gets shut down really, really quickly. We're in kind of the Wild West days for text message marketing, but that's a no-no. We have to set up a new phone number for you, or it just won't work. What we can do, though, is make sure that anybody who calls that number, it's automatically forwarded to the number that you choose. So that's the way to handle that.
That makes it all easy, dude.
Yep, we try. We do.
I love it, man. All right. Well, thanks for being on, and everybody, thank you for joining us. Go to the here. Let me
super. I did see another question pop up here from Francis.
Oh, grab it. I didn't see.
Yeah, she's asking about cost and if there's a contract.
Oh,
so, folks, no contracts. And we have a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. The only reason you're not going to love this system is if you don't use it, right? So that first 30 days is your chance to get in there and prove to yourself that you're actually going to benefit from this system. I promise you, if you send a message, just like we saw with Cindy, she only loaded 3 contacts. It's hard not to love a system when you get a reply when you only send to 3 people. So $47 to start, $470 for the year, right? So that's a $517 purchase that could return tens of thousands of dollars in commission income for you. There's also a question here about monthly. Is there a monthly option? There is. You can choose the monthly option. It's $47 to start and then $47 per month. That's simple. However, if you choose the monthly option, we cannot provide the free reevaluate for you. So only the people who choose the annual option will get that.
Okay. Also, is there a setup for teams?
Great question. So Tristan, you have a team and your team is running our service. So, the question that you need to ask yourself is, within your team, who does the client know? Do they know the agent they worked with? Do they know the team leader? Do they know multiple people on the team? Usually when we're talking about this type of communication, it is really personal. It's intimate. So it would be weird if I got this message from someone I didn't really work with closely on the transaction. So for that reason, we strongly suggest that you set up an account for each of the people on the team and have that account only for the contacts that agent works with and knows.
All right. And Debbie's asking a great question. Do you create the email content or is that done for you?
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. So we do. In fact, I'm going to come over here. I'll show you. You come to the send by audience area in the application, and you see like here are the different messages that are live right now. And you'll notice you get to rate these messages. So like Mayor of Hell caught my idea. I'm like, oh gosh, could I send that? I'm a little scared about this one. Halloween is right around the corner. And if you're not in the spirit yet, I may have the story for you. The self-proclaimed mayor of Hell, Michigan, which has no official mayor, is offering a Halloween-themed tiny home on Airbnb and his prestigious title for 24 hours. A stay only costs $31, not too much to get in the Halloween mood. If you were the mayor of Hell, what's the one candy no house would hand out on Halloween, right? So you might love that message or you might hate that message. We want you to rate it so that we learn what your preferences are. Okay?
Licorice.
Licorice, thank you. I was going to say Hall's Mentholyptus cough drops.
Dude, is that even a candy though?
I had a neighbor pass those out one year. I was like, what are you doing?
That's terrible.
Come on, man.
That's terrible, dude.
I'm more of the give out the full-size candy bar kind of guy, personally.
Me too.
Now, a question that I think people are going to want to know is, well, what if I love most of this message, but there's a part I want to change? Well, that's totally cool. You can edit each of these messages to make it fit you perfectly. We definitely recommend that if you have something going on you want to call attention to, you add it to the message. So you will also notice there's multiple messages here. So you don't have to love every single one. You're probably going to love more than one. So when you get to that moment of which one should I say send the one that makes you smile the most. Because if you like it, obviously the people you're sending it to will probably like it as well because they like you.
That's right, man. Right. Well, we can go on and keep on answering lots of questions because they keep on popping up. I'm going to put up my phone number. If you have any questions, just go ahead and text me.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I saw, I didn't share my screen there. We got other questions coming in. Guys, I'm always happy to answer and continue the chat. I know Tristan is booked back to back, and we're going to have to wrap up for today. If you have any questions, you need any help, just shoot me an email, dan@happygrasshopper.com. And of course, support@happygrasshopper.com. They're available. They can help you as well. I love that Tristan just put his number there to text. That's sweet. I'll pop mine up there as well at 727-798-0699. Yep. And I really, sincerely, guys, I really appreciate your time and attention today. And Tristan, thank you very much for everything you bring to the real estate community at large. Like,
I'm happy.
Solid.
Sue was on too, dude. How perfect was that?
Yeah, so awesome. Thank you, Sue. Love that you were here today. Very cool.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye now.